Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Now, at this time of year, we're thinking Christmas and we're out doing shopping, etc., etc., but we want to try and get a Christmas tree. Now, Christmas trees are a unique type of situation. You can have artificial or you can have real. And there are advantages and disadvantages to both. I'm going to start with the artificial because I think it should be up earliest. And what that does is it allows you to actually enjoy the tree much longer. And as such, you don't have to take it down. You don't have to worry about the needles falling. Well, no, I can't say that, okay? But you don't have them sticking into your feet in most cases. So, this is what you'll do. When you have an artificial tree, you get it unboxed. If it has been stored in a cool place, where the branches are, let's say, cool to the touch, you want to go and open the box up and allow it to warm up. The reason for this is the plastic becomes slightly brittle and it will shed needles. So, let it warm up, unbundle, sort all the branches, and then what you want to do is you want to build the stem. The bottom stem and the stand go together. Now, you have to think long-term about turning the Christmas tree on and off. So what you do is you take an extension cord and you go halfway up the height of the tree on the trunk on what you believe is going to be the backside. And you tie that extension cord on it, string it all straight down the trunk so you're not going to see it, out along, let's say, a foot, and then across so that it can easily be accessed without having to climb under the tree, over the tree, and behind the tree in order to turn off the lights. Because you're never going to be allowed to be out of the room for any length of time and have the lights on in an artificial tree. Many people think that they don't have to worry about it. Well, I have seen where the occasional mini light that they put on the Christmas trees become quite hot and can actually melt the branches, needles, etc. And I've also felt that if they can come to that point, it's possible for it to become a fire hazard. So, we want to make sure we follow that rule as well. So you've got your extension cord down and out along the foot and of the stand so that you know where it is, basically. But also it helps to cover it up. Now, your next step is to start lighting and putting the branches on. Now, to properly light a Christmas tree with artificial branches is you'll put a branch or a layer on, start at the bottom. You will plug into that extension cord that's halfway up your trunk. Your first set, it goes down the back because there's always a bare stretch at the very beginning. And then it gets worked up and down, and then across over to the next one. So the next branch will also receive some, or could receive some. You'll then discover that many of the branches have a tip on them, and you want a light out near the end of the tip. This is very important. And because you're weaving them up and down each side of a branch, you're going to get a very bright tree. You're going to have a tree with depth. So you work your way up and you do each and every layer this way. It's very important so that you can see, let's say, in front of the window from the street, your Christmas tree, but also from all points of view within the room, because this will probably be in your family room, party room, etc. Now, you want to stand back and look at this tree, and standing back and looking at the tree is probably one of the better ways of decorating, and it's patience. So what I want you to do now is consider that most artificial trees and trees have a little bit of open space between the branches, or there may be a weak branch on some of the real trees. So what are you going to do? You're going to take glass balls. Now this is what I like the green glass balls for. Silver also works really well for this. And what you do is you hang them on the inside of the tree. What this does is visually fill the tree out so it looks much, much fuller. And you'll work your way up the tree, of course, not up near the very top. You can go halfway around, 3/4 of the way around, all the way around, depending on how the tree is going to be viewed. Now, you've got the tree standing there, you've got it lit, you've got glass balls on the inside. There is a rule of 3, and that is 3 decorations on a regular artificial tree. You can break this rule and go to 5, but it becomes a little unrestful. So what you do is you go and you look at the front, and you can still twirl a little bit. And in twirling it a little bit, you'll get all the branches lined up, and you'll be able to start putting on more decorations. Now, you want a decoration to hang from each tip of the branch down. You want another decoration on the tip of the branch, and you work your way up or down, and that will give you consistency. Now, on the bottom branch, you'll have a particular, let's say, a Christmas pick, and then the next one up could be in the same series but slightly different, and go and work your way up to the top. Top will be sealed, and then the other thing that you will do is you will go and you've got the tip done, and you've got the balls on the inside, and you've got the lights, etc. Now, you want to have the things hanging down underneath and on tips, but each tip is not the same in a line. The bottom one is one type of, let's say, pick or decoration, and then the one above it is different. And then it repeats all the way up the tree till you get to the very top. When you're lighting the very top, by the way, you'll have a hard time getting lights in because the branches are so tight and short. You just twirl them around, plug them into the regular spot, and then just gently start pushing the actual light string into the top between the branches. It's the easiest way to do that. Now, once that's all done, you can stand back and take a look. You've got alternating picks on the tips of the tree. You've got something hanging down from all the tips on the tree. You've got the glass balls on the inside. And you've got the tree lit very well, because when you go up and down, up and down, up and down, you'll find you'll have a lot more lights on there. Now, you stand back, you take a look, and this is the hardest part. You're going to put on the garland. The garland should match the decorations, okay? So if the decorations have quite a bit of a red tone to them, then that's what you're going to try and use, is the red tones. If they're green but offset green, then go for it. The other one is, of course, more decorations, but also the tips can be filled in. Because when you stand back, you're going to see where the holes are. Now, the garland is going to be draped. It goes just behind the branch tip and the pick that you've put on it, or the decoration you've got hanging down. And that way it'll even fill up the tree even more, reflecting the light and the sound of the actual branch on each and every one. Now, when the kids are little, you want to make sure you put bells on. Now, the bells go around the outside, so that when the kids come along and they crawl over and they go ting-ling-ling, well, then you know that the kid's playing with the tree. Because let's be honest, it looks like one heck of a great big toy. And it's like a burglar alarm. And the kids will get to know. But you always move the bells around, lots of bells. And, of course, that will help to keep the tree from being pulled down. If you feel you have children like that or that young, it's not a bad idea to tie the tree up to the closest object that you can so that the tree doesn't go over. Very, very important. And that's why the legs are always as big or as wide as they are on the trunk before you even start. Of course, you need a topper for the top, and it can be an angel, it could be a Santa Claus, it could be almost anything. Well, I don't know what you consider anything, but when the kids make an angel for the top of the tree at school, you're going to have to use that one whether you like it or not, right? Okay. And use it year after year after year. That's just the way it is because you're supportive and you're a good parent. So that would sort of top the tree off. You stand back, take a look at your handiwork, make sure that the whole tree looks good from each and every angle where people are sitting and looking at the tree. Very important. And I think what you'll find, if you do all that, you will have a good looking tree that almost looks professionally decorated. And that will be surprising because when you can say to your guests, no, we did everything on that. Candy canes, not a bad idea. They hang, but they are tempting for people, and particularly children, to lean into the tree or to reach for the actual candy cane and may knock it over. So tying up is also important, but it's fun. Candy canes are fun. I think that should just about cover everything. Remember, when you're putting a garland on, it is matched all the way up each and every loop. Okay? That you start at the bottom, you go around, and it's put and attached just behind the tip where you put the pick on the end of a branch or a bird or whatever, and then it loops down, and then it loops down, and then it loops down. And you keep working your way around. You break the garland if you have to. Don't have the garland running here, there, and everywhere. And make sure that most of the tinsel garland goes and actually gets a knot at the end. Sometimes they do have a tendency to break down. And in regards to tinsel, I don't use it. It makes a great mess. maybe it's fallen with favor, but boy, it was always fun for the kids to throw, and I do mean throw, the tinsel on the artificial or real tree at Christmas time. There you go. Go ahead, get started this weekend, and enjoy. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.